Hi, my name is Patrick, and today I will be giving an informative speech. The Caped Crusader, the Dark Knight, Bruce Wayne. I'm betting you know who I am talking about, but if not, the character I'm referring to is Batman. Batman has been seen fighting crime in comic books and on the silver screen for many years. To some, he is an incredibly popular character and has been solidified as a pop culture icon in today's society. Because of this, learning about Batman's history is a relevant topic. I am credible to speak about the history of Batman because I have heavily researched the character. Additionally, I have personally been a fan of the character for many years. I have seen all of his movies and have read most of his comic book storylines. Batman has a long history that over time has made him an easily recognizable character in today's society. To begin, I will talk about Batman's origins and history as a comic book character. Then I will move to speaking about his transition into television and movies. To begin, let's talk about Batman's origin as a comic book character. Batman has been fighting crime on the pages of comic books for many years. The character is the publication of comic book Goliath DC Comics, but his origin is traced back to before this company's existence. According to DCE Editorial 2014, the company National Comics, which would later become DC Comics, wanted a character that could counter the success of their character called Superman. Bob Kane and Bill Finger were who the company turned to, and the two men created Batman in the year 1939. The first Batman story was called The Case of the Chemical Syndicate, and was published in the comic line called Detective Comics. This story introduced Batman as his alter ego, Bruce Wayne, a socialite from Gotham City who punishes criminals ruthlessly at night in his iconic bat-themed costume. As more Batman stories were published, the character began evolving. Also, according to DCE Editorial 2014, Batman's advancements started coming just 2 issues after his original release. The character began utilizing an arsenal of various tools, including the boomerang-like Batarang. Not only did the character's equipment become more advanced, but his depth grew as well. In Detective Comics number 33, Batman's tragic origin story was revealed. For those who don't know it, his parents were brutally murdered by a mugger on their way home from a movie theater. All of this occurred in the year of Batman's creation, 1939. As he entered future decades, the character began to transform further. According to DCE Editorial 2014, the 1940s saw Batman's universe begin to expand. During this time, the dynamic duo was created, when Batman was introduced to his sidekick Robin, the Boy Wonder. Following this, the character moved from Detective Comics to his own series, simply titled Batman, and began establishing many relationships with other recurring characters, one of them being his nemesis, the Joker. Throughout the decades, Batman comics have transcended many genres and tones. Information on these is provided by DCE Editorial 2014. Early on, Batman was a ruthless crime fighter who killed those who deserved it. In the 1940s, he became much more lighthearted and adopted his famous creed of refusing to take a life. The 1950s saw Batman become a science fiction character with storylines featuring aliens and robots. The late 1960s and 1970s brought him back to a shadowy figure beating things to a pulp. The 1980s produced some of Batman's most famous storylines, but the tone of the character became very dark. These storylines had morbid plot twists that transformed Batman into a ruthless vigilante. The 1990s and 2000s continued this tone. The 2010s saw DC Comics perform the New 52 relaunch, a massive reimagining of all of their superhero titles, including Batman. Publications following the relaunch are still happening today. Next, I will discuss Batman's role as a television and movie character. Batman moved to the screen many years ago, and the character may be more well known for these appearances than those on the pages of comic books. Batman began his live-action, on-screen career in serials and television shows. According to Jackson 2014, Batman made his first on-screen appearance alongside Robin in a 1943 black and white 15-chapter serial titled Batman. Lewis Wilson played Batman. The serial was a success, so a follow-up titled Batman and Robin was created in 1949, with Robert Lowry playing Batman. In 1966, Batman was introduced to the world of color television, where Adam West played the Caped Crusader in the television series titled Batman. This series was marked by colorful themes of action, adventure, and comedy as Batman battled various villains. The series was very popular among many circles, and due to its popularity, it was made into a movie in the summer of 1966, where actors from the television series reprised their roles. The movie also maintained the colorful themes of the television show. Batman's first film was the gateway for many others that have been made over the years. Information on these films comes from Jackson 2014. The next Batman film was Tim Burton's 1989 film Batman, featuring Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne and his vigilante alter ego. This film earned a sequel in 1992 titled Batman Returns. Both of these films had a dark tone, which the studio found difficult to market. Because of this, the next Batman movie in 1995 had a brightened feel, in which Val Kilmer played the title character in Batman Forever. This film earned a sequel in 1997 titled Batman and Robin, in which Kilmer was replaced by George Clooney. The movie continued the campy feel set by its predecessor, but fans decided it was time for Batman to become dark again. As this was the least successful Batman movie of all time, the studio listened, and in 2005, Batman Begins was released, with Christian Bale playing Batman. Bale reprised his role in The Dark Knight from 2008 and The Dark Knight Rises from 2012. The Dark Knight is Batman's most successful film to date. According to Ryan 2016, this film earned a 94% out of 100 on Rotten Tomatoes, a popular and trusted critic website. According to IMDb 2016, the film is ranked number 4 on the list of the top 250 movies of all time. The most recent Batman movie to be released is 2016's Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, in which Ben Affleck plays Batman. Affleck's Batman also makes a brief appearance in 2016's Suicide Squad, and his portrayal will be seen in future Batman films. The next scheduled appearance is in Justice League, according to Warner Bros. 2016. To wrap it all up, let's review. Batman has been around for 77 years, both in comics and on the silver screen. We first examined his origins and transformation as a comic book character. Then we discussed his on-screen beginnings and evolutions into movies. I hope that you learned about the character Batman and are encouraged to read or watch some of his storylines if you haven't already. Thank you for listening.